Okay, so let's look at the shows you're going to see and the production responses you're going to do. So you have to see 4 shows and write an extremely short response to those shows. I'm at the very bottom of the course now. I put it down here because I don't know when you're going to see shows. If you live out of town, you may, I don't know what your schedule is. Um, so these production responses are technically not due until the end of the term, but I strongly recommend that you write them really soon after you see the show, when the show is still fresh in your mind. Um, so if you open this document, which is also at the very top of the page, it's a description on, now this is for if you live in Eugene. Actually, this used to be called Free Shows to See in Eugene. I don't know why words being so slow, but so if you live in Eugene, I've arranged for you to see some free shows around town. Um, so yes, you can take a video option. I would much rather you see live, but so let's assume you're going to see live shows first. So for the live shows that you're going to see, or production response, this is the same description for acting classes and for um, this class. So you will see your shows and you'll write a production response. You have to see 4 shows. If you live in Eugene, I want to require you to see the show that Lane produces. We do a show every quarter. Or I've also arranged for you to see the shows at University of Oregon and Oregon Contemporary Theater for free on certain nights. You can come see the Lane show any night for free, but you can only see the U of O and the OCT shows on very specific nights before they open. If you do not live in Eugene, just read all this, it's pretty clear. If you do not live in Eugene and or you do not see live shows, directions to alternate options are found in the description of this, which is this. Now what you're seeing at Oregon Contemporary Theater and the University of Oregon is their, it's called a preview. It's actually just the final dress rehearsal. It's a little confusing, possibly. At Oregon Contemporary Theater, you can go see the last 2 dress rehearsals. So that's always a Wednesday and a Thursday night. It's free for Lane students, so you just go to Oregon Contemporary Theater. Here's a link to their website where you can get their directions. They are located on Broadway downtown in between Charlton and Olive. There's parking on either side of Charlton, and it's free in the evenings. So all you do, the shows are evening shows in Eugene are 999% of the time probably going to be at 7:30. You just show up and you say, I'm one of Brian's students at the box office, and they'll let you in for free. If you want to bring a guest with you, you should have them be prepared to pay $5. Because they also open their performances up to, it's called a pay what you can. It's meant for people who might not come and pay the full price. And you pay what you can. Some people pay 5, 10, 15, 20, whatever. So that's Oregon Contemporary Theater. At University of Oregon, it's a little different because it's only one night before the show, and which specific night that is depends on which theater the show is in. So it's usually it's always a Wednesday or a Thursday night, it depends. So look at, there's their website, it gives you directions. It's on the U of O campus, very close to the EMX bus stop that is on just off of Franklin. I don't remember what it's called. It's called 11th, where Franklin, you turn onto campus and Franklin becomes 11th. It's very close to there, and there's parking. If you're driving towards downtown, there's parking on the right side of the EMX stop, and you cross the road and the theater's on the left. When you go see shows at University of Oregon, there won't be anybody in the box office. You'll walk up to the theater and think, oh, is there a show going on? There's nobody here. What's happening? And you walk in and you'll see a show. You can bring your entire neighborhood to see shows at University of Oregon and nobody will know. And they're totally free. There won't be anybody there to take your money. So So yeah, so that's up with that. At the bottom of this form, this might not, I may recycle this video, so this may not be the current information for you, but there's a list of the shows that you can see, hopefully in order. There may be more than one at U of O and OCT. Lane Theater will always have their main production and then the acting showcase at the end of the term. What acting showcase is, it's scenes and monologues from the advanced acting classes, and that's only one night, and it's free for everybody. So yeah, so this is the info about how to find shows, how to see them. If you don't get to see the preview at University of Oregon or OCT for free, you feel free to purchase a ticket. I would never recommend anybody go to U of O without buying a ticket in advance, because all of their students can see shows for free, but they can't get tickets until like an hour before curtain. So when you go see a show at University of Oregon on their regular nights, this is not for the preview night, it's for every other night, there's going to be a huge line of people. They're getting tickets. So if you're not going on preview, purchase them in advance online. And you can also purchase tickets in advance at OregonContemporaryTheater.org, octheater.org. So here's their websites. It tells you everything you need to know. You cannot purchase tickets for previews at either one of these theaters. And I'll reinforce, all shows at Lane are free for all performances, and you probably don't even need to make a reservation. You can just show up. So that's how you see shows. Once you see a show, and I strongly recommend that you read over this before you see the show, so you will know what you're doing, what you're going to write about. So you're going to see these shows. For each of them, you're going to write a 200 to 300 word response addressing the level of artistic and political/social success of the production. And each, oops, this is a typo. They're each worth 50 points now. This word count is very important. If it's shorter or longer, there will be points deducted. It is an exercise in writing succinctly, but still packing a wallop in what you say. This is what business writing today is all about. People don't read. So the shorter you can get your message across, the fewer words, the better. That doesn't mean that it's just, a short essay. It needs to be much more dense. This is very, very dense writing. So what I recommend you do is to write it as if it were twice the length, and then go back and edit out all the filler. Because there is a lot of filler in the way we write, usually. I'm trying to disabuse you of doing that. So here's what you do. You're gonna answer this question, or maybe one of these other questions, but this is the way to think about it. What was the director's purpose, message, or concept? That's what it was. You're not, I'll get to that later, but you are thinking beyond just, oh, this is what the sets looks like. Oh, this is how it made me feel. You're asking yourself, what was the point of this production? What was the director saying or about what it means to be a human being living in the world today? Theater is not just pure entertainment. It should make you think about your life or, the world today. So that might be another question to phrase for this. How did it make you think differently about the world? Now, yes, it is a medium that has a specific way of communicating. So you need to utilize the acting and the design of the production to help support your answer. So if the point is, whatever you think the director's point was, that you can think of this as sort of what's the moral, but that's a little limited. What's the point? I'm directing a show now, and it's called Hand to God, and it's about a church group, a very conservative church group in Texas that's trying to put on a puppet show, and one of the puppets becomes possessed by Satan. Well, supposedly, but not really. It's really just the child's stress and everything. This poor child whose father's just died and his mother's freaking out, and it's the way he's dealing with growing up and becoming human. Sort of the main idea that we're operating with in this production is that the world today is so out of kilter that it's bringing out these unhealthy urges in us, and it's making us act out in a very specific way. Um, so that's kind of the message. That's what I want people to think about when they see this show. No, I'm not saying, hey, this is how to fix your life. I'm not. Directors usually are not prescriptive in saying, hey, this is what you need to do. They don't wag fingers at people and say, this is the moral of my story is go be a nice person. You know, the moral of the story is go plant a tree. It's not like that. Uh, what did this production make you think about? And how did they use the acting and the design to um, to do that, to help you think about that? Now, you've never done this before, I'm almost positive. So don't freak out about it. I promise you that 90% of the reason that students don't succeed, probably in most classes, is because they just think they can't do it. Um, Follow the directions you're given and do your best. You know, you are probably not going to write, you know, the most erudite, you know, brilliant thing ever written, but give it a try. You know, there's no way your answer can be wrong. This is your personal response to the shows that you see. If you feel that the message of a production of, oh, I don't know, Oklahoma, that the director's purpose, message, or concept was, um, you know, the the corn industry is evil. We need to destroy the use of corn in this country. Then okay, sure. Then or just argue that. What I'm trying to do instead of me now, this is I've tweaked this assignment. It used to be in the past I would say discuss one of the scenic elements. You know, discuss the design, the scene design, discuss the costumes, or discuss the lighting, or whatever. And that led to a lot of description, which I do not want. Um, there's no reason for you to just describe what you see. The purpose is for you to analyze what you see and just ask yourself, what did you take away from this production? That's another way to phrase this first main question. What did you take away from this production? How did this production make you think about the world today or your life today? That's all there is to it. It's not any more complex than that. You don't have to have any prior experience to it. You don't have to be a scholar to answer these questions. Yeah. So your responses should you now, okay, so here we get into more specifics of what you're going to do. Please include a word count so that I know that you know, we all know that you lived up to the 200 to 300 words. You need to use vocabulary words from class. Use at least 3 advanced vocabulary words from class. Words that you did not know before taking the course. There will be specific deductions for words that do not fit this. If you use the word acting, you're not going to get credit for using that word. Even if you use words like blocking, which might be a word that, you know, if you've not been involved in theater before, you probably don't know what that word means, but it's a very simple term. So use words that are complex. Do not use the word verisimilitude. That word drives me nuts. Because people use it incorrectly. They always want to use it because it's the biggest word you're going to learn in this class, and everybody thinks, oh, I'll use the big word, and it's wrong. And they throw it in there, and it's not incorporated into what they're saying at all. It's just like this arbitrary, I'm writing this sentence and now verisimilitude. Don't use the word verisimilitude. Selection and correct use of vocabulary words is the dominant factor in grading. Do not define the vocabulary words. You don't have enough words to do that. But use it correctly, and I'll know you know what the meaning is. And selecting the best words is important. There's only 3, so, and you have, you know, up to 300 words. So, This is my only opportunity to verify that you actually saw the production. This is very important. So responses should clearly indicate that you saw this particular production, as opposed to just reading the play or reading about other productions online. I have in the past gotten production responses from students where they didn't actually see the show. In some cases, maybe they read it, but usually that wasn't the case. What they probably did was they went online and read about other productions of it and just gave me some BS about what they read. Well, that production probably had nothing to do with this production. So it's very important to keep in mind that you are analyzing this company's choices, not the playwriting and not anything about anything you have read online. There is no reason for you to go online for this assignment. And believe me, I'll know if you did. So what you need to do is read yourself and ask if you could have written this response just from reading the play. If so, you need to redo this assignment. Just rewrite it. So all your posts, except for the first one, must indicate that you have read the previous responses. Add to that response. So add to the discussion. Really, all that means is don't just repeat what somebody else has said. And you don't have to be nice. Some production you see might suck. Sometimes they do. Theater's hard, so don't be insulting. I mean, there's no reason to, but assume that that's what they intended. If the articulation of the actors was not that good and you couldn't really understand a lot of what they said, assume that was their choice, and because that affected your response, that affected your interaction with this piece. So what was that? Was the director saying language is useless? We humans today can't communicate. Okay, So very, very, very important. This is a short little paper, little response. I don't even call it an essay. You do not have room to define your terms, so avoid sentences. I used to get this all the time. A good actor should play clear objectives and obstacles and be free of physical tension. But in this production, this was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. That was like 20 words wasted. And that's the kind of stuff that I'm avoiding. That is fluff. That is filler. There's no room for that in this assignment. Most importantly, the single most reason you will not get full credit for this little writing assignment is you included description. You need to assume that I saw the play and you're not going to describe anything. Yes, you will need to refer to things like in the yellow dress that the lead actor wore in the second act. That's a reference. But if you say something like, in the second act, the lead actor wore a yellow dress with padded shoulders and a cinched waist that was knee length. That's a complete waste of words. I saw it too. Even if I didn't see the production, I didn't need that description. If you're really utilizing your argument and your language effectively, I'm going to know. So I didn't need to know all that stuff. But probably I did see it if you live in Eugene. So do not describe anything. I used a costuming example. Mostly what I've gotten in the past is description of the set. Don't describe the set. Refer to the upstage section where the very dilapidated kitchen was utilized effectively. Don't say upstage there was a kitchen with peeling wallpaper, a dripping sink, a rusty door handle, and broken window. That's a complete waste of words. So to reinforce, you are, ignore that, it's now 50 points. You are only getting 300 words, but you have to do at least 200. Can't be shorter than that, after all. And you're just going to answer the following question. What was the purpose? What did you walk away with? Obviously, what I'm looking for is that you're applying the stuff you're learning in class to productions that you see out in the real world. I hope when you finish this class, you're going to view theater differently. Number one, that you go to the theater a lot more, but that once you do, um, the way you see plays is different. So utilize the concepts from class. That's why I ask you to use the vocabulary words. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask. As always, I am more than happy to help. There is no such thing as a stupid question, as you've heard how that goes. So let me know if you need some help. Thanks. Bye.